Catnap is already a terrifying villain, but what if he took an even more sinister turn? I decided to find out and created Evil Catnap, a version of the living toy that has even more power and terror than the prototype. Now, I'll be surviving the next 100 days as Evil Catnap in-game, using my variety of dark powers to capture the smiling critters and grow into even bigger and more powerful forms. Will I become the ultimate ruler of Playcare, or will the Mecha Player send me back into the shadows? You'll have to watch until the end to find out. On day 1, I spawned in as Baby Catnap inside of the gas production zone beneath Playcare. Standing in front of me was my dad, who was about to undergo a ritual with the prototype.
Prepare yourself, Chosen One. Your body will be used for me to gain ultimate power.
Goodbye, son. I'll be serving our god now.
I watched as my dad stepped forward and the ritual began. The prototype used his powers to strike my dad down and killed him as a sacrifice. Dad! No! I jumped in to intervene, causing the ritual to go wrong. I absorbed the prototype's soul and transformed into Baby Evil Catnap. I now had 5 more hearts and new abilities. Whoa, I feel incredible! Suddenly, I noticed that the player had arrived. He had witnessed everything that just happened. The player stormed after me and I prepared for battle. On day 2, the player was using his grab pack attacks to try and take me down. Out of instinct, I used my sleeping gas attack on him, but his gas mask made him immune to my efforts.
You can do more than that now! Unleash your true potential!
The prototype's words echoed in my mind, and I unleashed a new prototype slash attack onto the player. Whoa! The strange ritual must have empowered me. Suddenly, Poppy arrived to aid the player.
Don't let him get the best of you. Use this.
She took out an upgrade and dropped it for the player, causing him to transform into an even more powerful state. His suit grew into a massive mecha form. Armed with his new powers, he shot his player rocket attack on me, dealing massive damage. It was clear I no longer stood a chance. This is bad. I have to get out of here. I used my new powers to destroy one of the glass gas tanks within the room. The red smoke filled the area, obscuring the player's vision so I could make a run for it.
You won't escape me! Get back here!
On day 3, I was being chased through the halls of the gas production zone as the Mecha Player pursued after me. He was much faster and it was only a matter of time before I was captured.
Go into my safe room before he catches you!
Just then, a secret passageway revealed itself to me. I ran through it and shut it closed before the Mecha Player was able to get to me. I was now inside of a messy room littered with trash all over the floor. The walls were scrawled in writing about something called the Hour of Joy.
Welcome to my nest.
Man, you live like this?
As my newest vessel, you're destined to carry out my plan for the next Hour of Joy!
But that thing is after me. How am I supposed to beat him? Suddenly, a monitor lit up in the room and began to play a presentation.
Obtain the souls of the 7 surviving smiling critters. With their powers, you will grow stronger to the point you even surpass my power. With this strength, that mecha won't stand a chance, and Playtime Co. will be yours for the taking!
Just then, I heard the sound of tiny footsteps outside. I knew it must be one of the smiling critters. Looks like my prey has walked right to me. I then left the prototype's nest to hunt down the smiling critters. On days 4 through 7, I arrived at the source of the footsteps to find myself inside of the central hub of Playcare. There, I spotted DogDay shivering in fear.
Huh? Catnap, it's you! I'm so happy to see a friendly face!
What are you waiting for? Attack!
My new dark urges took control of me and I lunged at DogDay with my prototype slash attack. He was startled and began to run away from me.
What's gotten into you? Don't tell me the prototype got to you!
I chased him throughout the area, gaining on him as he ran. It wasn't long before he ran to a spot where Poppy and Bubba were waiting for him.
Help!
Before they were able to react, I unleashed my sleeping gas on DogDay, putting him to sleep. I live to serve the prototype now. You're nothing but a source of power to me. I struck down DogDay and claimed his soul, causing my form to once again change. My limbs elongated and my fur became sharper. I now had 5 more hearts and even more power.
Bubba, we have to go now.
Poppy took Bubba with her and ran for the school. I quickly followed behind to capture Bubbaphant next. On days 8 through 10, I ran into the school and found Bubbaphant running down the halls in the distance. "You're not escaping me!" I chased after him. But when we turned the corner in a classroom, we had been stopped in our tracks by the horrifying teacher, Miss Delight.
It's time for class, smiling critters. Don't let me catch you playing hooky.
"I don't have time for you. I have prey to catch."
Leave me alone!
Bubba made a break for it and I ran past the teacher to continue chasing him.
Skipping class? Naughty students get sent to detention.
She pushed a button on her desk, causing the floor to collapse. Bubba barely made the jump to escape, but I couldn't clear the gap and plummeted into the pit. I soon landed on top of a conveyor belt inside a massive room. What is this place? And why is it under a school? Looking ahead, I realized I was heading straight towards a pit of fire. That lady dropped me into an incinerator. I tried to find a way to escape, but there was nowhere to go. I was doomed! On days 11 through 14, I was struggling to find an escape from the incinerator conveyor belt. Just as I was about to reach my fiery demise, I spotted a generator. That must be powering the machinery in the room. I gotta destroy it. I used my slash attack and destroyed it from afar. The power box crumbled, causing the conveyor belt to grind to a halt and extinguish the flames of the incinerator. That was close. I then heard the sounds of Miss Delight's heels hitting the floor. I needed to leave before she could find me.
My incinerator! Who did this?
With no other options, I jumped down into the inactive incinerator. But to my horror, I was met with a pit of lava. Why is there lava underneath a school? Luckily, on the other side of the lava was an exit. Looks like the only way out of here is forward. Using what little platforms I had, I hopped over the deadly pit of fire before Miss Delight could find me. Thanks to my cat-like reflexes, I managed to make it across and escape back to the surface. Once I emerged, I was once again inside of the school, and Bubbaphant stood just a few steps away. Aha! I've got you now!
Poppy, help!
A swarm of jack-in-the-boxes sent by Poppy was unleashed onto me to defend my prey. On days 15 through 17, Poppy's toy minions tried to overwhelm me with their greater numbers. Unfortunately for them, I was much stronger in my new form. More and more toys barreled towards me, but I struck them down one after the other with my slash attacks. The power of the prototype was truly amazing. Out of my way, you insects! I defeated the final toy. But unfortunately, they took enough of my time for Bubba to make his escape. I managed to follow behind his trail, but once I was finally gaining on him, Poppy once again came to stop me.
Leave him alone, you filthy feline!
She pushed a nearby button, causing the ceiling to collapse between me and the two of them. I was now unable to get them.
You were my friend, Catnap. What has gotten into you?
Don't bother trying to get through to him, Bubba. That's not Catnap anymore.
Since one of the critters was so close, I tried to claw my way through the rubble to get through. This wall can't hold me back forever! You critters are finished!
Come, Bubba, let's go!
With that, Bubba and Poppy began making their escape, and I was stuck behind a pile of rocks. Ugh. At this rate, they'll be long gone once I get through. Things only got worse as Miss Delight finally caught up to me.
There you are. You're coming with me.
She readied her makeshift mace and closed in on me. On days 18 through 21, I was able to unleash my sleeping gas before Miss Delight could land her attack. She stopped in place and I was able to continue seeking out Bubba. I found an alternate path where I managed to corner my prey, and this time Poppy was nowhere in sight. Come and join me in the darkness, Bubba!
Never!
To my surprise, he shot out water from his nose to slow me down. He was about to escape until Miss Delight stopped him in his tracks.
You're a naughty student who thought they could miss class. In fact, all of you smiling critters deserve punishment.
Allow me! I used my slash attack and struck down Bubba, killing him in a single blow. Upon his death, I absorbed his soul, and my body transformed once again. My limbs grew even longer, and eyes appeared on my arms. I gained 5 hearts and new powers.
You're no average smiling critter, are you?
That's right. I have the prototype soul within me, and I'm gonna use it to grow even stronger and take over the Playcare.
Does taking over the Playcare mean extra budget for the school?
Sure?
Great! Well, in that case, let's hunt and punish these smiling critters together.
Miss Delight and I officially teamed up and began our hunt for the next smiling critter. On days 22 through 25, Miss Delight took me to Home Sweet Home and we both entered through the front door.
Bobby Bearhug should be hiding around here somewhere. Why don't we look around?
We traveled further into the building when a green gas suddenly filled the room. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before. What the? Green gas?
They must have manufactured a gas that's effective on you alone.
The world around me began to change, and the once simple house turned into a labyrinth of hallways. I began searching high and low for Miss Delight, but she was nowhere to be found. I was gonna have to continue on my own. Now alone, I walked through the spiraling hallways, searching for a way to escape the hallucinations. Suddenly, Nightmare Huggy Wuggy emerged from the floor in front of me. "You can't hurt me! You're just a hallucination!" I was shocked when the living toy used a static shock attack on me and it actually hurt. Despite not being real, he was still a threat. I gotta run! On days 26 through 28, I was being chased through the strange, winding halls of Home Sweet Home by Nightmare Huggy Wuggy. As he chased me, I tried to use a slash attack on him, but he was completely immune to it. He can hurt me, but I can't hurt him? What kind of place is this? As I ran for my life, I found myself running through the same looping halls over and over. It seemed like there was no way out of this place, and I'd be chased by the nightmare forever. But as I ran this time, I noticed a passage that wasn't there before. Through this passage, I found a machine that was the cause of the green gas that was causing me to hallucinate. Poppy made all of this to stop me? Man, she isn't messing around.
Best not dwell on it. Remove the threat.
I used my powers on the machine and quickly destroyed it while I had the chance. With that, the gas cleared from the area and my surroundings returned back to normal. Looks like that Nightmare Huggy is gone. But where did Miss Delight go? I walked out of Home Sweet Home and then spotted a trail of red fur on the ground that looked like it belonged to Bobby Bearhug. I followed the trail, hoping to find her at the end of it. On days 29 through 32, I was following the trail of red fur that eventually led me to a room full of bunk beds. In this room, I saw Bobby Bearhug run into cover. Come out, wherever you are! I looked where I had seen Bobby hiding, but she was no longer there. I crept around the room, looking behind each nook and cranny for my prey, but I couldn't find her. There's no reason to be frightened, little one. Come on out and I'll make sure you have nice dreams. I came upon the trail of red fur once again and followed it. I was sure it would lead straight to my target, so I lashed out at whatever was there. But all I ended up tearing down was a bunk bed and finding the wrong stuffed toy. Where is this critter at? It was then that I noticed Bobby creeping out into the middle of the room. There you are! Ready or not, here I come! I lunged at her, but before I could land a killing blow, the floor opened beneath her feet, dropping her to safety. She hit a button and the floor closed up above her again, keeping me from getting to her.
Hoppy, send in the backup!
As she gave the signal, a mutated Bunzo bunny dropped in front of me.
You won't be tormenting these toys any longer! Die, fiend!
Bunzo charged at me, determined to end my life. On days 33 through 35, I was facing off against the mutant Bunzo that Poppy had unleashed against me. He used his strength to slam me with his cymbals and threw explosives in my direction. I did my best to focus on dodging them before countering with a ferocious bite when the time was right. But my attack landing only seemed to anger it.
Is that all you got?
He created a shockwave with his cymbals, launching it towards me and causing heavy damage. I tried to put him to sleep, but my gas did nothing to him. Looks like they really thought of everything. I knew that one wrong move was the difference between life and death in this fight. Luckily, I had an idea. I ran from Bunzo and stopped on the hatch that Bobby Bearhug dropped into earlier. Hey, come and get me if you're strong enough. Bunzo used his explosive attacks on me again, but I dodged out of the way. The explosion destroyed the hatch, exposing Bobby's hiding place. Peekaboo! I dropped inside and shredded her to pieces. Once slain, I leaped back out, gaining extra powers and 5 more hearts. With my increased strength, I rejoined the fight with Bunzo. Thanks to my new abilities, I was able to finish it off instantly. That's what you get for messing with Catnap. With the fight over, I continued out of the room in search of more smiling critters. As I roamed, things got worse when a cage suddenly formed around me. trapping me inside. From the shadows, Kissy Missy stepped forward.
You're coming with me.
On days 36 through 39, I awoke within a prison inside of the playhouse. Miss Delight was being held captive too.
Oh no, Kissy got you too? If we don't get out of here, they'll kill us both.
Don't try to escape now. I'll be back shortly to end your lives as painlessly as possible.
Kissy Missy then left the room, leaving us to wait for our untimely demise. This isn't good. How can we get out of here?
Good thing I know this place like the back of my hand. I know a way out, but be warned, it is treacherous, even for the likes of you.
Nothing's too dangerous for me. Let's get out of here. The prototype then located a hatch above us. I used my new powers to break it open, and together, Miss Delight and I escaped. The hatch led us to an air vent that we both were able to fit through. Follow me, quickly! As we made our way through the vent, we suddenly saw a cloud of green gas begin to form in front of us.
Hold your breath.
Miss Delight and I took a deep breath as we continued to move through the vents. Trying to move through the vents quickly, the prototype then spotted the exit beneath us. I began to smash it to get us through so we wouldn't succumb to the green gas. Once broken, we leaped down to find on the other side of this exit was a bottomless pit with horizontal pillars spaced out across it.
This doesn't look too stable.
It's either this or Poppy kills us. We have to try. Miss Delight made the first attempt to jump across the chasm. She jumped to each platform and was able to make it across. I prepared to jump after her and took a running start. But as I landed on one of the pillars, it gave out and crumbled, causing me to fall into the pit. Ah!
Catnap, no!
On days 40 through 43, I landed at the bottom of the pit. Luckily, I landed in water, breaking my fall and keeping me from dying. I looked around as I floated and realized that I was inside of a cave system. I swam out of the water and found the entrance to a passage which led me back to the playhouse. Looks like I'll have to sneak my way out through the front. I walked around in search of an exit when I saw Hoppy Hopscotch. The hunt continues! She took off and I pursued her. She led me into the jungle gym where she hid from me. Come on out, little rabbit. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna kill you. I used my sleeping gas to try and smoke her out, but before I could find her, the Mecha Player entered the room. Before he could spot me, I took cover behind a slide. If he saw me, I was as good as dead. Hoppy's gonna have to wait. I need to get out of here in one piece. On days 44 through 46, I was stealthing through the playground as the Mecha Player observed the area. I used the jungle gym to my advantage, moving between different equipment to stay out of his sight. As I hid, I saw Hoppy approaching the Mecha Player.
Looks like you're ready. Let's go.
Whatever you say, player. Lead the way.
As the two of them left the area, I spotted the exit. I could have run for it, but I couldn't shake the feeling that they would lead me to something important. I can always leave later. I'm gonna follow them. I stalked behind my prey, following behind Hoppy and the Mecha Player while staying out of sight. Eventually, they led me to a laboratory where the Mecha Player was creating a serum. What is that?
Is this going to hurt?
Maybe a little, but we're hoping it'll make you strong enough to protect yourself against Catnap.
Hoppy stepped into the chamber and the doors sealed shut. The player activated the machine and the serum was pumped into the room. As the green gas entered her system, she began to grow and mutate into a monster. Oh no! They're creating smiling critter weapons! Hoppy's ears suddenly perked up as I spoke and she turned towards me. Her new form had given her super hearing. Before I could react, she rushed forward and found me.
I'm coming for you, Catnap!
On days 47 through 50, I was being chased by Hoppy Hopscotch in her new empowered form. After a bit of running, I was eventually cornered with nowhere to run. Alright then, let's see what you can do. As she closed in on me, she released an electric attack that shocked my entire body. She continued her assault, and I felt the strength of her new form behind every hit. I fought back with all of my Catnap powers, but she was fast on her feet and evaded most of them with ease.
You won't hurt any more smiling critters. Die!
She released a bolt of lightning that hit me square in the body, but I endured and ran at her through the attack. Once I closed in, I hit her with an attack at close range. She couldn't withstand the hit, and I defeated her. I claimed her soul, gaining 5 more hearts and new powers. Looks like the smiling critter's defenses are improving. I'll need to watch my back. Just then, I spotted a note on the ground where Hoppy's body had been. I picked it up and realized it was a letter from her to CraftyCorn. Dear CraftyCorn, Catnap was finally captured by Kissy, but he's unpredictable. Take cover in the toy store. He'll never suspect a thing. Your little letter gave me just the hint I needed. With the letter giving me a new lead, I headed for the toy store. On days 51 through 54, I arrived at the toy store in search of CraftyCorn. Looking around, I spotted some sort of puzzle. There were slots for an A, T, and C block, as well as a sign. Find the letters and tell me who you are. I guess I need to solve this to get through. Better start looking for those blocks. I explored the toy store and eventually came across the A block sitting on a shelf. I picked it up quickly and went to search for the C block. Soon, I found the C block tucked away next to a suspicious vent. Some puzzle this is. This is too easy. I acquired the C block and began to seek out the final T block. When I found it, it was sealed inside of a glass case. I tried to open it using a button beneath it, but nothing happened. I don't have time for this. I smashed the glass open without a care and claimed the final block. Nice. But smashing glass caused an alarm to go off. I had to get back to the puzzle before the area was locked down. I gotta move! I went back to the puzzle and put the 3 blocks in their specific places, but nothing seemed to happen. Are these things broken?
Calm yourself. Remember what the sign said. Tell it who you are.
The prototype was onto something. I rearranged the blocks so that they spelled out cat. With that, the door opened in front of me. That unicorn is gonna be as good as mine. On days 55 through 57, I went through the passage and deeper into the toy store. I was eventually led to a dark room with an electronic door which was blocking my path. What's with this place? Behind every obstacle is another obstacle. Can you open the door, prototype?
Without power, it's not going to budge.
Then I'll just have to turn on the lights. I searched the area until I found a machine similar to the one in the gas production zone from day one. But this one didn't seem to be producing any red smoke. Its tank was empty. Maybe if I fill the tank, it'll restore the power. I used my gas attacks to fill up one of the tanks, but suddenly the lights on the machine started flashing red. I must have filled the wrong tank. Maybe it's fine? The machine overloaded and caught on fire. The flames quickly began to spread. Maybe it's not fine.
We're going to burn! Restore power and get out of here!
I frantically filled the other tank with gas. With every second I spent filling the tank, more and more fire spread through the room. If I wasn't quick, I would get burnt to a crisp. Once the tank filled, the alarm stopped and the room's power returned. With the power back, the door opened again, and I ran through it before the fire could get me. On days 58 through 61, I made it out of the flaming room and found myself in a storage area. I was surrounded by shelves with rows and rows of smiling critter plushies on display. I know you're in here, CraftyCorn. I moved deeper into the room until I found the section displaying the CraftyCorn plushies, but they all looked identical. If CraftyCorn was hiding among them, there was no way I could tell which one was the real one. Luckily, I had an idea. I released a cloud of sleeping gas into the crowd of CraftyCorn plushies, and one of them jumped out, revealing the real CraftyCorn. You're mine! Just as I was about to claim her soul, Poppy suddenly ran in and guided her into a vent nearby.
You're not hurting any more smiling critters, you fiend!
Enraged, I followed Poppy through the vents until I arrived inside of the Make a Friend room. There were tons of machinery here, and Poppy was standing on one of them.
Come and get me!
I ran after her in a blind rage, but Poppy had baited me right into a trap as a robot toy dropped down in front of me and quickly closed in for the kill. On days 62 through 64, I was fighting the monstrous robot toy in the Make a Friend room. The robot landed a devastating attack, knocking me into a massive pit. I plummeted and hit the ground hard, taking lots of damage. Jeez, I can't seem to catch a break today. As I tried to regain my footing, I accidentally stepped on a trap and a cage suddenly closed around me. The toy dropped down to join me and began approaching my cage.
I have you now, Catnap.
The deadly robot was ready to finish me when out of nowhere Miss Delight arrived. She ran in and knocked the toy away from my cage.
I thought you might need some backup.
She ran up to the cage and began to strike at it, but it was very durable, and she was unable to free me. Behind you! Miss Delight narrowly avoided being struck by the robot toy. It pursued her around the room, aiming to strike her down with its weapon swings. As they fought, one of the robot toy's attacks missed Miss Delight and struck my cage. Unlike Miss Delight's attacks, this one did some damage. Whoa, that thing is strong! Miss Delight moved back over to my cage and stood in front of it. The robotic toy set its sights on her and charged towards her. Miss Delight stayed put until the very last second and then jumped aside. This caused the robot toy to crash into the cage, breaking it apart and freeing me. Alright, looks like the cat's out of the bag.
Cage or no cage, it doesn't matter. I'm going to defeat you.
The robot went in for another attack, but now that I was free, I was able to retaliate with my catnap attacks and destroy him. Good riddance. Out of the corner of my eye, I suddenly spotted Poppy trying to escape with CraftyCorn. You're not going anywhere! I used my needle attack on the CraftyCorn, killing her instantly.
No, CraftyCorn!
I claimed her soul and gained 5 more hearts and new abilities. Poppy darted, running for her life.
I'll go after the little girl. Check the counselor's office for the next troublemaker. They might be there.
Miss Delight ran after Poppy, and I left to check the counselor's office to see if I could find the next smiling critter there. On days 65 through 67, I arrived at the counselor's office, and once inside, I realized that the building was full of green gas. Poppy had made this gas to use against me. That stuff is dangerous. I need to find the source and shut it off. I traveled through the counselor's office, avoiding the rooms that were full of green gas. Soon, I was stopped by a room with a massive gap in the ground. The bottom of the pit was full of green gas I needed to avoid if I wanted to keep going. Falling in would be a death sentence. Looks like I'll have to use those platforms to get to the other side. Here goes nothing. I used the platforms to navigate across the pit. I had a few close calls, but I was careful and eventually made it over halfway across. Just a few more jumps. Suddenly, I heard the sound of feedback as a speaker turned on in the room.
We've got you right where we want you. There's no escape, Catnap.
I watched as the pillars behind me began to crumble. If I didn't move fast, I'd fall to my doom. I gotta move! I frantically jumped to the next platforms, desperate to make it to the other side of the pit.
Quit trying to win, Catnap. You're finished.
Never! I made the final leap and landed safely on the other side of the pit.
Not bad. Unfortunately for you, I planned for this outcome. Here's a taste of your own medicine.
The room suddenly began to fill with even more gas. I had walked into another one of Poppy's traps. On days 68 through 72, I was locked inside the room full of toxic gas. Using my strength, I tried to brute force my way out of the room, but the locked doors weren't budging. I could feel my heart steadily dropping due to the poisonous fumes.
Calm down, I can hack into the system.
The prototype got to work on hacking the door, but my hearts were still rapidly dropping. Now would be a good time! I was down to my last heart when the door finally opened. I hurried through the door as fast as I could to escape the fumes. I had made it out alive, but my insides were burning and my health was low. I need to find a way to heal, and fast. I continued through the counselor's office until I found an apple tree within the building. Kinda random, but oh well. Let's hope there's no worms in it. I grabbed an apple and chowed down, but instead of healing me, it reduced the one heart I had to only half. What? It was poisoned! It must have been a trap. Just then, I heard the sound of someone approaching.
No!
On days 73 through 75, Kissy and Poppy entered the counselor's office. Now that I was weak, they were able to ambush me. Thanks to my upgraded cat-like reflexes, I was able to dodge their attacks. But I was in no condition to fight. I used a slash attack on them to keep their distance and ran away while I still could. I skulked around Playtime Co. trying to keep a healthy distance between my pursuers and I. There has to be something I can use to heal myself around here. Suddenly, I spotted Piggy hiding under a desk. Found you! Piggy screamed when she saw me and ran for her life. I chased after her, knowing her soul would not only power me up, but heal me back to full health. Get back here! I'm only going to consume your soul! I was closing in on the smiling critter as she ran through the hallways of Playtime Co. She quickly ran into another room and took cover behind a massive toy knight statue. That thing isn't gonna protect you.
Are you sure about that?
Huh? The statue came to life and swung at me, but I narrowly dodged it. It was ready to defend Piggy to the death. On days 76 through 79, the giant toy knight was attempting to attack me with his giant spear. Since my health was already very low, one more hit and I would be done for. He unleashed a lightning attack, which I narrowly avoided, but I couldn't risk getting in close to retaliate. One wrong move and I was a goner. I need that pig soul. It's the only way. I tried to go for Piggy, but every time I tried, she managed to evade me. I was determined to stop her, and so I released another cloud of sleeping gas, causing her to slow down and stop. While she was vulnerable, I attacked, slaying her and allowing me to claim her soul. This granted me 5 more hearts and new powers. The playing field had been even, and I was able to match his power with my own. With enough determination, I was able to take down the toy knight. I'm one smiling critter away from ultimate power.
And you're not getting him.
Suddenly, the Mecha Player arrived to try and stop me. He then launched a rocket attack at the floor beneath my feet, causing it to collapse and sending me into the depths of the Playcare. On days 80 through 83, my cat-like reflexes allowed me to safely land in the underground area of the Playcare. What is this place? I traversed through the area and almost immediately came upon a large obstacle course full of puzzles. I spoke too soon. I approached the first challenge in the obstacle course. I quickly realized that without a grab pack, the puzzle was impossible to complete. Without a grab pack, I could be stuck here for days. That Mecha Player is sure to come and finish us off before then.
You can always break the rules. Look over there.
I looked around to notice some sort of machine. It appeared to be powering all of the puzzles. This gives me an idea. I unleashed my catnap gas and it enveloped the machine, interfering with its circuitry. Soon, it overloaded and exploded. As it did, all of the puzzles cleared and opened a nearby exit.
Good job. Now let's keep moving.
Suddenly, the cavern began to tremble around me. I don't like the sound of that. Something big is coming. I wasn't about to stick around to find out what was causing the cavern to shake, so I ran through to the exit as fast as I could. Unfortunately, I didn't get very far and was soon met with a dead end. I could hear loud footsteps approaching from a distance. There was nowhere to run. On days 84 through 86, I was cornered and could hear some kind of massive creature approaching me.
I can get us out of here, but I need more power. Build me a shrine and it'll give me the boost I need.
You want me to just casually build you a shrine? I don't have much time, you know.
I know that. Keep it simple.
I hastily scavenged for enough materials to allow me to build a sloppy-looking shrine for the prototype. Soon enough, the shrine powered up and I felt a surge of energy within myself.
All hail the prototype!
The prototype unleashed his power, the blast taking the wall down and exposing a passage. I escaped through it before the creature could show up. On the other side of the passage, I found myself within a secret bunker built beneath the factory. I never knew this room was a part of Playtime Co.
There's a lot of things you don't know about this place, but once we take down that Mecha Player, it will be your personal kingdom to explore as you wish.
You're right. Time to find that last smiling critter. On days 87 through 89, I was prowling through the secret bunker trying to find the next smiling critter. I was making my way deeper into the room when I came across KickinChicken speaking with the Mecha Player.
He got to all of my friends. I'm sure I'm next.
Don't worry. Not even Catnap knows about this bunker. While you're hiding down here, I'll hunt and defeat that monster.
But what if he finds it?
Then use this. If that cat comes for you, he won't know what hit him.
I watched the player hand a potion to KickinChicken before he left to continue hunting for me. What was that?
It doesn't matter. Kill that critter while he's done.
I began to carefully creep towards KickinChicken, wanting to sneak up on him and strike him down quickly. But out of the corner of his eye, he spotted me.
Ah!
He backed up from me in a hurry and quickly chugged the potion. Before my eyes, he grew in size and mutated just like Hoppy Hopscotch had before.
Whoa, it worked! I'm stronger than ever! You're going down, Catnap!
He ran at me, closing in and attacking with his newfound strength. On days 90 through 92, I was fighting against the mutated KickinChicken. His new form made him one of the strongest foes I had faced so far. Thanks to his mutations, he was able to use his sharp talons to attack me. I tried to retaliate with my catnap abilities, but the serum had made him extremely durable.
I'm not afraid of you anymore. Now that I'm stronger, I'm going to avenge my friends.
He unleashed a hard-hitting spinning attack, leaving me with low health. If I didn't think of something soon, I'd be a goner. As I dodged his next attack, I looked at the machinery above him and got an idea. I need to destroy those pipes. I aimed for the pipes above, hoping it would be enough to break them and fall on KickinChicken. Unfortunately, nothing happened.
You honestly thought that's dummy, you arrogant cat.
Well, how about this? I launched a second wave of attacks aimed directly at KickinChicken. The attack knocked him into the turning machine above, doing tons of damage and killing him. Upon killing him, I obtained his soul, gaining 5 more hearts and even more powers. I did it! I killed all the smiling critters!
Finally, your worthless body is mine!
What? The world disoriented around me as the prototype transported me to another plane of existence. On days 93 through 95, I was in a dream realm with the prototype standing before me. What is all this? Where am I?
Have you forgotten that you only have this power because you interrupted my ritual? It was supposed to belong to me! You forget your place!
But we're a team!
We are no team. I simply needed you to do all of my dirty work. Now that you have, I'm taking this body for myself!
I became enraged and lunged at the prototype to attack him, but he disappeared. He reappeared behind me and I turned to face him. But when I did, I saw that he was accompanied by countless clones of himself. I had no idea which one was the real prototype. I don't need to know which one to use the real one. I'm keeping my body and I'm taking the Playcare for myself. I used my sleeping gas on the group of prototypes. One by one, the gas made his clones disappear until only the real one remained. No! You shouldn't have tried to stab me in the back. With a single devastating blow, I struck him down. The dream realm disappeared around me and I woke back up in the secret bunker. I was alive, but my health was extremely low. It was then that I heard the Mecha Player approaching. I was weak and unprepared, so I got out of there while I still could. On days 96 through 98, I returned to the school where Miss Delight was waiting for me.
You're alive!
Barely, but I have all the power I need to finish this, now that I'm not sharing it with the prototype anymore. Did you get Poppy?
Of course I did.
Miss Delight stood aside, revealing Poppy trapped in a cage. I approached the cage, ready to interrogate her for the information I needed. Alright, Poppy, tell me where I can find the Mecha Player's base of operations.
I won't tell you anything. I'd never do that to my friends.
Oh yeah? We'll see about that! I released a cloud of sleeping gas into the cage. As it flooded Poppy's system, she began to hallucinate. Poppy's cage was now in a dark room within her mind where I could interrogate her further.
What's happening?
All you have to do is tell me where the Mecha Player's hideout is and this will all be over.
No, never!
With Poppy not giving in, I used my powers to multiply myself and surround her cage. Where is the player? You're seeing your worst fears play out before your eyes.
No, please stop! He's in the penthouse! The lab elevator will take you there!
Once Poppy gave up the player's hideout location, I exited her dreams and returned to the real world. Thanks for the help, Poppy. Now, it's time to take the Playcare for myself. Now that I knew where the Mecha Player's base was, I left to go find him. On day 99, I arrived at the lab that Poppy told me about. There was an elevator nearby which would take me right to the player. However, Kissy Missy stepped out to block my path.
What did you do with Poppy, you monster?
Nothing that concerns you. Stand aside.
Not until you let my friend go!
As Kissy Missy became angrier at me, she flipped a nearby switch. A pink mist from a nearby machine showered down on her, and she transformed into a mutated Kissy Missy before my eyes.
I'll tear you apart if I have to!
She attacked me in her new form, using her claw attacks to try and get the better of me. I didn't have any time to waste, so I dodged around her and ran for the elevator. But once I got close, Kissy Missy hit me with another strike with her mutated claws, launching me away. You're not stopping me from getting to the Mecha Player. I focused on fighting back instead, throwing out all the powers I had gained over the course of my journey. But Kissy Missy was motivated to rescue Poppy and wouldn't back down. She blew a deadly kiss onto me and then closed in for a follow-up. As she got close, I instinctively retaliated and suddenly unleashed a new power unlike anything I had ever used before. This must be because I defeated the prototype. Nothing is holding me back now. I continued the attack as it cut through Kissy Missy's mutated body and she fell. With no one left to stop me, I entered the elevator. There was only one thing standing in my way now. On day 100, I arrived at the top of the elevator. The doors opened and I stepped into the penthouse. The Mecha Player was already waiting for me. I finally caught up to you.
But at what cost? You become a monster. Look at everyone you had to kill to get to this point.
So what? Playcare's as good as mine. Now stand down.
Never. For all the souls you've tormented, I'll make you pay.
The player readied his grab pack and came at me with a fury that drove his every move. He caught me off guard, and before I knew it, he had gotten in close and struck me with a series of punches. I avoided some of his blows and fought back with my cat-slash attacks, but he was a motivated, tough opponent. He even managed to shave off several of my hearts.
You're weak. Darkness will never win.
Are you sure about that? I exhaled, releasing a cloud of red smoke that filled the room. This obscured the player's vision and gave me a chance to back up out of sight. The player began to search for me in the fog, but I used my environment to my advantage and stayed hidden. He released handgun attacks at his surroundings, trying to hit me.
Come out and fight, you coward!
When his back was to me, I jumped out of the fog and attacked him before disappearing back into cover. He frantically searched for me, but once he was vulnerable again, I ambushed him once more. Again and again, I surprise attacked him, weakening him gradually over time and sending him into a rage.
Where are you?
Right here. As the gas dissipated, the player turned and saw that I was standing right behind him. Before he could react, I landed a heavy catnap beam attack on him, lodging him back and taking his health down to almost nothing. Goodbye, player. I approached him and struck him down once and for all. At last, the Playcare belonged to me and me alone.